What's up guys, it's All Day Anthony and welcome back to a vlog that you hopefully know and hopefully love. Because in today's video, we're talking about where I've been. Let's jump into it. Alright, it's been over 5 months since my last YouTube upload. And in that time, I've had quite a few people reach out and ask, Anthony, what happened to the YouTube content? Are you done making videos? Do you still have the cars? And so on and so on. So today I wanted to give you guys an update on kind of what all happened and why there was a big gap in the content and kind of what it means going forward with creating future content. And then of course give you guys a short update on the cars. So yeah, let's jump into it. Okay, so I'm going to try and stay in front of the camera for once for this story time and hopefully keep things short and sweet. So this all started back in January. So if you guys watch my videos, then you'll know that at the beginning of January, I had made an update to my racing sim setup with some more mods and things like that. Made a whole video on it. Life was good. You know, going into that winter, playing racing sims every day, that was like awesome, right? Well, around that time, I had started to notice this pain in my glute, like literally a pain in my butt on my left side. And I thought it was from like all the left foot braking I was doing in the racing sim, GT3 driving and all that. And so after a few weeks, it didn't get any better. So I went to the doctor and the doctor said I was probably going through some form of like sciatica or I was having a sciatic episode. Apparently it's super common and most of the time resolves in a couple weeks. So I was like, cool, right? No big deal. Went back to normal life, went on some work trips, went on some family trips, and continued to still make content, right? So I made the Quick Jacks video, which was awesome. And I was like loving life again, right? Like I got another amazing tool to use for content. I was super pumped, looking forward to this summer, being able to use that setup. So I made that video and then I continued to make another video working on the brakes on the Honda Civic as well. And it was around, I think, February or so, I went to a chiropractor because the situation wasn't getting any better. So went to a chiropractor, did absolutely nothing. All they did was yank on my neck, so I just basically left there with a sore neck. After a few more weeks, the pain did not get any better. It was starting to kind of go down my leg a little bit further. And so I did what most people would do and started physical therapy. So I went to physical therapy for the next six weeks of physical therapy. Outside of physical therapy, I wasn't really overdoing it. I was actually trying to focus on, you know, doing some light stuff around the garage and not necessarily climbing under cars or doing anything. So that's kind of when the break in content started. And the physical therapist was basically saying like, hey, you know, you should hopefully be getting better by this week. Well, going in like 4 weeks into it, that pain had now gone from being in my butt down to being in my leg and then sometimes down my calf, and it was just getting worse. And so one day, I think it was actually the beginning of April, I'd had a pretty busy week at work, and then one day I woke up, put my foot on the ground, and the pain was like constant. It was at that point forward, the pain did not let off. So instead of being like an occasional pain, now it was that no matter whether I were standing or sitting or walking, horrible. Like, I can't even describe how bad it was. It was like, it was kind of almost unbelievable, right? Because you're like, I can't be in this much pain. And I was trying to like convince myself that I wasn't. And so at that time, I went to the doctor. We found out through an MRI that I had a herniated disc at my L5-S1 and my lower back there in the lumbar section. And ultimately, the herniation wasn't that big, so the neurosurgeons and a friend I have who's actually a professor of neurosurgery and just neurology, he's the one that was kind of guiding me through this whole entire thing. And he had kind of said, hey, it could get better on its own, you know, even with this pain that you're in now. So at that point, even though the pain was now like crazy, the neurologist and my neurologist friend even told me that there can still be a chance that it can get better on its own and hopefully life will go back to normal. I would just have to obviously go through some different treatment plans. And so starting then, I went through epidural steroid injections, which like they go into your spine and shoot a steroid into there. I had done oral steroids. I had read books about back health, I had gotten acupuncture, I had gotten massage, I had done all these different things, and nothing was making it better. If anything, I was actually getting worse and worse and worse. And so basically for the next 3 months, April, May, and June, I did not know that I was going to be going through essentially hell pain. 10 out of 10 pain, some nights, crying myself to sleep, kind of stuff where I could not walk. I couldn't sit upright. And when I say I could not sit, I could not sit, which you need to be able to sit to do like tons of different stuff, obviously, but like I couldn't sit. So the only way I could get out of pain was by lying flat on my back. And so those next 3 months, basically me just getting around the house or me getting from place to place was me limping and or crawling to essentially get out of pain. And so my wife was actually driving me around in the back of I had to lay down in the back of our 4Runner just to get around. Obviously, I could not drive the cars, right? So couldn't drive the Civic, couldn't drive the RSX, the Evo. There were days where I kind of like forced myself to drive them, even in pain, just because I didn't want them just sitting for that long. I was even going to have my friends and family come and drive the cars because I just didn't want them sitting, and it sucked, guys. So needless to say, eventually it started wearing on my mental health. So after 3 months of this hell pain, I really started getting down, really started getting depressed. It was affecting my home life. It was affecting my my friendships. It was also affecting my career. So after that amount of time and it not getting any better, we basically, the doctors finally said, hey, you probably should consider surgery. And so beginning of July, I scheduled the surgery. So on July 8th, I went in for my surgery. I went into the hospital in like 8 to 9 out of 10 pain. And 2 hours later, kid you not, 2 hours later, I left there pain-free for the first time in 6 months. No nerve pain, no nothing. And I walked out of the hospital. Pretty crazy. So basically it was just a small incision in my back, went in, and they just removed the excess disc material that was touching the nerve, and it's all Gucci. Everything's good. Now, that's pretty much the brunt of why I've been gone, but now where I'm at now is kind of in the recovery period because I wasn't walking and I wasn't using my muscles for so long. I lost a lot of muscle mass in my glutes and my legs, hips, my back, my lower back stabilizers and all of that. So for the last month and a half now, it's been me trying to get those back. So yeah, let's just change camera angle. So when I had initially thought about making this comeback video, I was unsure about whether or not I wanted to include all of the health and personal stuff or just kind of come back into things and start working on cars immediately. But ultimately, I wanted to make this video because I wanted to show that I'm human and also that the cameraman can, in fact, get hurt despite what the internet tells you. So, yeah, I really want to just be transparent because I think it's also going to set the stage for what I'm going to be capable of doing here in the next month or two while I'm still in this recovery process with working on cars and such. So, I mean, I can't just go and bend into an engine bay right now, but hopefully here in the next couple months, I will be able to, and I'm going to be able to start lifting more and things like that. But one thing I want to say, though, is that in the time, like the 3 months of being in pain and being on my back, I always came out to the garage to try to like find happiness, right? Because this is a place that makes me happy, seeing the cars, motorcycles, tools, and all of that. And I would hobble in here, in pain and thinking that this stuff would make me happy. Honestly, it just bummed me out more because I have all this cool stuff and I couldn't use it. And that's when it really hit me that, physical health, mental health is everything. None of this crap freaking matters if you don't have your physical and mental health. And, I couldn't use any of it, right? I would come out here and I couldn't even drive the cars. So then it would just bum me out more. So then I kind of stopped liking coming out here and I would have traded any of this just to be back to 100% health and be able to do something as simple as walk around the block, which I know, again, sounds cliche, but it's so important. I think that we just overlook that stuff because we're constantly on social media and we see all the cool toys and what everybody else has and all this stuff. But that stuff does not matter if you can't use it or if you aren't in the right mental state to be able to appreciate it. And so, yeah, just something cliche to say, but something that's also important to say because, yeah. But But another thing there is that, you know, your back health is also extremely important. And so I probably for many years lifted things improperly. I know I did weightlifting for years and years and years, and who knows, I probably did something at some point which initially caused the injury, and then whatever it was, lifetime, age, you know, is probably what pushed it over the edge. But I mean it when I say take your back health seriously. Don't pick up stupid stuff. If something says team lift on it, ask for help, right? I was the guy that saw the team lift sign and said, yeah, that's a suggestion. I'm just going to lift this anyways. And that's where it got me. So now, obviously, I have to take way better care of my back now and be more mindful of that in the future, so I don't have that injury again. So yeah, anyways, let's get back to a positive note now, and let's talk about future content. Okay, so getting into future content and kind of what things mean for right now. Obviously, I'm going through this recovery stage, so again, I'm not going to be bending into an engine bay or lifting anything crazy for at least another, you know, month or two or whatever it may be. But in the meantime, I'm hoping this is the start of getting back into more consistent content. So next weekend is Honda Day Boise 2024. By the time you're watching this, this is probably the day this is happening, in which Honda Pro Jason's going to be back out. You can go watch the previous year, by the way. That was a great video. Actually, the previous 2 years I made were awesome videos if you want to check those out. But Honda Pro Jason's going to be back in town, as well as Noel G. Hector, my guy, rolling 3 Honda Civics deep with spoon engines. It's literally like, it's like a dream come true for a Honda guy. I'm like super pumped to meet him. So that'll be next weekend. So obviously I'm gonna film and vlog that. But as far as like installs go and things such as that, that's going to be the one thing that's going to be kind of a case-by-case basis. So obviously I still have things I want to do on the RSX here. I have a second whole set of wheels and tires that I was hoping to have on this car this summer, but like physically I don't know if I should attempt to do that just yet. Have you guys ever seen the Civic this dirty? I'm ashamed, I'm embarrassed. I feel like horrible that it's this dirty. It's been, I think, like 3 months since I've washed it. So yeah, I need to give this thing a bath. So I think it makes sense to focus more on, you know, creative videos rather than like the hard-hitting install videos, at least for like the next, you know, month or two. So whether that means like another, you know, 5 things to make your underpowered Honda more fun to drive, or, you know, more fun and creative content like that in the meantime until I can get back to some heavy lifting. Because I know on the Civic, for example, I have the trailing arms with the rear disc swap that I want to get done, the intake manifold that people have been waiting like years for. Like that story's funny because what you guys don't know is that after my brake job video, I had the car on the quick jacks to actually go into that video next. And then that's when my symptoms started getting worse, and I kind of had to hold off on that. And so now the thought of me bending into the engine bay back there is like a nightmare. So what we may end up doing for stuff like that is I may end up linking up with Cody over at Larry Miller Honda and have maybe him do the install and I just be the cameraman for it or something like that, so we can at least get some progress on the Civic as well. But ultimately this thing needs a lot of love, and I'll get to that here in a minute. So yeah, that's kind of what that means. Basically next couple months, probably more chill content, and then we'll get back to our regularly scheduled stuff. All right, so a quick and dirty update on the cars. Literally, we'll start with the Civic first. Not much has changed other than the fact that it just got absolutely filthy and I need to do some more maintenance on it. So the last video I did was the brake install with the brake pads on the front, but I really do think I need to rebleed the system. That caliper over there has a puncture in the boot, so I got to find a new caliper or just, you know, replace that from the junkyard. Again, things I need to do in the future. And I need to rebleed the slave cylinder because the clutch is kind of acting funky every once in a while, but not much has changed here, so you guys haven't missed out on much. Everything's good here. Now, for the RSX Type S, I tried to do a couple things on this car while I was injured, like hobbling around. Like I know I replaced, you know, some trim pieces here, so like this pillar trim here, replaced this seal around the top here, I replaced that. And then over here on the intake manifold, I repainted the intake manifold cover there in silver, made like a short reel on that on Instagram, but that was pretty much it. Other than that though, I had a lot of time laying on my back and shopping on eBay Japan and all sorts of other stuff. So I ended up buying just some random tidbits for the car that I'm really excited to hopefully install. And actually, I'll kind of show you what I mean. So over here, right, we got Type S badge there for the rear. I did not know it was gonna be so orange, so I'm not sure if I love that yet. It's just really orange. I don't know how I feel about that. But also, check this out. So these beauties right here are new interior sill plates for the RSX Type S. And so DC5 Designs created these, and I actually kind of worked with him to kind of end on this design, because he had the RSX Type S, he had the Integra Type S design, but I asked him, like, dude, can you make just one that says Type S? And he was like, yeah, I could probably do that. So he made them, they came in, these look beautiful. So these are gonna go on the inside door sill. So that'll probably be an easy install that I can do soon. And then eventually, if this is gonna be like a full, Type S conversion or whatever. And I'm still kind of debating doing the stickers there on the rear quarters at the lowers, or I don't know, I'm unsure. But outside of that though, I still have all the other random stuff I need to install, all these pedal covers and all of that. But the problem is that all those are going to require me to be a pretzel on the inside of the car. So we'll see when I'm capable of doing that. Now for a quick update on the Evo, I know that most of you guys watching this are Honda people, so you probably don't care. But for the few Evo people watching this, this is normally around the time of the year where I give you my annual Evo update and kind of go over all the different things I've done to the car. I probably will be making that video here within the next month or two. But one thing I did do while I was injured was I spent a lot of money buying parts that I think are going to get discontinued or have already gotten discontinued here in the US that I was able to source from eBay Japan or Japan. So for example, I picked up a brand new OEM hood vent mesh thing, right, just in case. And then I also picked up a very lightly used OEM ACD pump for an Evo 9. Why? Mine's totally fine. I just saw a good deal for that, and I was like, sure, why not? So I purchased that, and then I purchased new window trim for this thing, along with some other random crap. I don't even remember. Floor mats, right? Because I know those got discontinued, so I got more floor mats. Just random stuff like that. I'll cover that in a future video. Oh, and then over here, full titanium Acropovic exhaust for my BMW. I bought it used, but I did not know that it was going to come with these stains that I could not get out from the previous heat wrap, so I got to figure that out. Up top here, OEM DC5 window visors that I spent way too much on. More OEM window trim for that side over there on the driver's side of the RSX. So yeah, that's kind of a small update of just general things. So needless to say, I'm still very much into the cars and still looking forward to doing a lot of car things here in the future. But I'm mostly excited and grateful that I'm standing, walking, holding a camera and being able to do this again, because I really missed it. That whole thing sucked so bad. I never want to go through that ever again. 1 out of 10, do not recommend. Avoid herniating a disc and avoid sciatica like the plague, because it will literally ruin your life. So you don't want that. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's all I got as far as an update, as far as what's going on. I appreciate all of you that have made it to the very end. Yeah, that's what happened. That's what's going on. That's what happened. But I'm looking forward to next weekend. I'm looking forward to getting back into the routine of making more content, and hopefully you guys are as well. And hopefully you guys missed seeing these here in the garage. So as always, if you guys love the Honda content and want to see me back in the saddle, please make sure to give me a big thumbs up, subscribe down below for more, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. This is ALLDAYANTHONY. Peace.